you've got an absolutely incredible collection of the 1948 Leaf Jackie Robinson card.
I do. Jackie Robinson changed the game. He broke the color barrier. He's being taught in school. So there's just so much that's involved with, this card in particular.
Jason, thanks so much for having us out to your house. This is an absolute dream house. I aspire to have my own basketball court someday. This is absolutely wild. But I appreciate you having us here.
No, it was awesome. Thanks for flying in and checking everything out.
It's been a lot of fun. And this collection, I can't wait to talk about this. I appreciate you. I know you went to your vault and gathered a ton of stuff to bring out here to share with us in the audience today. This is going to be a special episode.
Yeah, I mean, when you said you wanted to come in and check everything out, I stopped by and grabbed a few things just to show you that I thought would interest you. So, some of the stuff that we're going to see is some of the more exciting pieces that I have.
Yeah, let's dig in. So first of all, right off the bat, the thing that strikes me is the incredible quantity you have of many of these things. And there's no greater example than this Jordan collection. This is incredible. I have never seen this many of that iconic 1986 Fleer Michael Jordan card together in one place. You could almost swim through the number of cards you have here. How did this come about?
I've been doing this for 30 years, and as you make money in cards, you can choose to take those profits and invest it in stocks and other assets. A lot of times when I took profit off of a certain card, I always was dump it back into Michael Jordan rookies. So that's kind of what we see here. It's accumulation of 20 years of just me putting my money in what I think is the GOAT of all sports cards.
I know you've been in sports cards from early on, and you've been buying and selling. Is it just that has led you to this palace that you live in?
I mean, I have to give the credit to cards initially, yes. But cards was such an amazing avenue to introduce me to every aspects of the world, whether it be businessmen or celebrities or, athletes, which, and helped me with my other business of private signings and appearances. And it didn't happen overnight. And if you ask me how I got here, I couldn't give you a finite answer, because it's just, I look back and I have to pinch myself, because it's like I'm 1 degree away from almost anybody in the world now because of sports cards and memorabilia.
This summer I was in LA and had a chance to go to the Frank and Son card show out there, which is thriving. And that was actually a big part of your childhood as well, right? That's kind of how you got started.
Yeah, so, and I don't recommend this, but in high school, I was dealing a lot of cards and hitting up a lot of shows, and I would leave school Tuesday night, take the late flight, land in LA. I would do the show all day Wednesday, skip school, and then take the red eye home, and then be back in class Thursday. So I think after I hit, 25 or 26 absences, we had to talk with the principal and stuff, and I explained to him what I was doing. But yeah, I definitely think the hands-on experience was far more valuable than, sitting in a classroom.
I love it.
I'm not anti-school, but
yeah, absolutely incredible. Okay, well, it's not just the Michael Jordans though that you have an unbelievable quantity of. As we were looking at your collection, I mean, you've just got stacks of some of the greatest cards of all time, like this. Tell me about these Derek Jeter foil cards.
I was looking for stuff that I thought was undervalued, and this card in particular, they're so condition sensitive. With the Yankees and Derek Jeter being who he is, most of my investments are vintage. So I was looking for a little more modern, and Jeter just kind of spoke to me as being a really good modern investment.
So Dr. J checks the box for one of those vintage, iconic, very investable players.
Kind of like Jordan. Michael Jordan, when someone asks, there's 2 different rookies. With Dr. J, there's only 1 rookie. So when somebody comes to me, it's a very easy decision. And similar to Jordan, I like to put my money in what I consider, safe investments. And, in my opinion, vintage basketball is much safer than some of the modern stuff is definitely more risky.
So speaking of high risk, high reward, I think it's important we tell the story of some of those risks that you took that didn't work out, because it's amazing seeing all the success you've had building these collections over the last 20 years of these iconic players. But sometimes when you've taken the chance on the modern stars, you end up with probably the world's greatest collection of Mitchell Robinson.
Mitchell Robinson, yeah, this is one that didn't work out. And on Instagram and social, you see people showing off all these crazy cards they have, and that's fun and everything, but I think it's more educational for the new person to show the losses that someone like myself can, invest and take a massive hit. So Mitchell Robinson, for that case, was one of those guys.
So you've got an incredible collection here of Wilt Chamberlain, a few really unique pieces. Tell me about each of these.
This is a ticket to the famous 100-point game. It's a courtside seat ticket.
Amazing.
And we have a program from that game. And this guy was able to get Chamberlain's autograph on this program, which it's the only one that exists.
That's incredible. And then you've got a contract of Wilt's as well.
Yeah, so then this is probably one of my more valuable and favorite pieces. It's actually Wilt Chamberlain's rookie contract with the Philadelphia. And I think there's two. I think I have one, and the NBA Hall of Fame has one. And what I think is really interesting about this is if when you read it, he signed a 2-year deal for $50,000. And it would be cool if Wilt was still alive to tell him that story, that I paid more for the piece of paper than you got for playing 2 years of basketball.
That's incredible. That's nuts. Super Bowl tickets. You don't just have 1 or 2 or 10 or 50. You've got a stockpile of tickets from all the different football championship games.
Yeah, I have the entire run except for, I think I'm missing 2 years. I think the PSA Pop Report is somewhere around 50 tickets for Super Bowl I, and I have 7 or 8 of them. To me, that's an extremely undervalued piece. I mean, that's, American history, Super Bowl I tickets.
Well, speaking of history, talk to me about these presidential autographs and the checks of these are unbelievable to be holding a beautiful, authentic autograph of Abraham Lincoln and Thomas Jefferson.
Yeah.
And you have so many different presidents. This is insane.
When I show these to friends, like their jaw drops. Just seeing Abraham Lincoln autograph check, it just seems like it should be in a museum. And to be holding it is kind of surreal.
Yeah, it is absolutely surreal. I agree. This is one of the more jaw-dropping pieces of a collection that overall is just absolutely jaw-dropping. But I love the history behind these.
It almost gives me chills. Like it's pretty wild.
What is this piece? This looks wild.
Yeah, so this is one of the coolest things I own. So basically the inaugural Hall of Fame was in 1939.
For baseball.
For baseball. And there was Hall of Famers way before that, but that was the first time they decided to celebrate it in Cooperstown. So what happened was this I can assume was a kid, goes around and gets all 11 signatures of the original Hall of Fame guys.
Wow, all on one piece.
All on one piece. And then is smart enough to go to the Cooperstown post office and have it time-stamped and signed by the postmaster. So it's time-stamped Cooperstown, June 12th, 9 a.m.
So it is from that event. You can know verifiably it's from that event.
Literally, that kid was at the Hall of Fame induction and went around and got all and was smart enough to get everybody's autograph. Ruth, Ty Cobb, Connie Mack, Lajoie.
Cy Young. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Honest Wagner's on there.
This is a piece, Walter Johnson. I mean, this piece is just incredible. And if I have to sell this piece, I would be very sad.
You'd sell the basketball court first?
There's a lot of things I would sell before this. Yeah, this is one of my favorite pieces.
Unbelievable. That's beautiful. This is also nuts right here. This is, you got 3 of these. Tell me what these are. This is nuts.
Yeah, so these are tickets from the famous called shot game. These are tickets that went unused, which were preserved. We have in
beautiful condition.
Yeah,
these are exceptional condition tickets.
Super high grade, but these people missed the game.
Right.
And it's an iconic moment. It's been in movies.
Yeah.
To me, this is stuff that, hopefully I'll pass along to my kids.
Yep.
But if the number's ever right, you never want to sell, but sometimes your arms get twisted.
Sure. Well, you talked about Babe Ruth, and you also said the name Jackie Robinson. Mm-hmm. You've got an absolutely incredible collection of the 1948 Leaf Jackie Robinson card.
I do. Those I keep very locked up. I brought out a few just to show you, but yeah, I have a lot of this card.
Yeah.
I've been buying this card for probably 7 or 8 years now. Jackie Robinson changed the game. He broke the color barrier. He's being taught in school. So there's just so much more that's involved with this card in particular. This is his best rookie. At its peak, I had over 200 copies
of this one card.
Of this Jackie Robinson.
And there's not that many of those that exist, right? I mean, it's not like there's tens of thousands of these that exist like you see with modern cards today.
Correct. I think PSA is graded around 1,600.
Yeah.
And between SGC and PSA, I had around 200 copies.
Wow.
Now, in the height of the COVID craze, it would have been foolish for me not to sell some. But one of the ones I'm super excited that I did hang on to was I did purchase a PSA 9 of this card. So that's a card that in today's crazy world, you know, could be approaching $10 million.
Yeah, and that's in your vault, I assume.
That is in my vault.
We don't get to see that one today.
That one is tucked away in the vault.
Yeah.
But that's probably the best card I own. Not probably, that's the best card I own. And it's my favorite card. And
you have gotten into sealed video games, and in particular, the most iconic series of video games ever, Mario Brothers. Tell me about this collection you've built.
I've always liked video games, and I never really knew that there was a market for it, and it's obviously gone nuts in the last couple of years, but it makes sense with cards that, you know, that they could stay intact, because people thought at that time to preserve the stuff. So I would think that 99.99% of video games were ripped open in the car. You know, I look at it, if you gave 8-year-old Jason, you know, money, what would he do? And this is exactly what he would do. He'd build a basketball court. He would go and buy every single video game that he could. I'm long-term on this, and ultimately, this is one of those things that I don't think the stuff's gonna go to zero, but if it did, I honestly wouldn't care, because you know, I have a Super Mario Brothers 3 on my desk every day. I look at it, if I'm having a bad day, it kind of reminds me, this is what you do for a living. You love it, you know, step back and look, like we're playing with baseball cards and video games. Like, this is a pretty good business to be in anytime I'm stressed out.
It is. Jason, this has been absolutely insane. Thank you so much for sharing this incredible collection with us. I'm gonna let you go put this back in the vault. I'm gonna go shoot some hoops on your court right now.
Appreciate you flying in.
Thank you.